Hi, I'm Emily. I'm going to do a multi-part seed haul today. It is very early February here in Georgia in the USA, and I'm growing in zone 7B. So I'm excited to show you guys what I'm planning to grow this upcoming year that's brand new. Just hot off the mail. I have 4 different sources next to me. I'm going to walk you through not only what I got, but a little bit about why. Maybe it'll give you some ideas. I don't know where to start. I'll show you, I think my most impulsive thing that I purchased was determinate tomatoes, which if you're new to gardening like I was just a few years ago, there are some tomatoes that grow and grow and grow, and those are indeterminate, and then there are some that only grow to a certain point. Those are called determinate. And I wanted to try some determinate tomatoes this year because I didn't want to deal with trellising 8-foot tall slicer tomatoes. I wanted to have smaller ones. So I have 2 packs with no pictures, but they're just red slicing tomatoes. I'll tell you the varieties. I have Celebrity, which you see all the time, like at the Lowe's, Home Depot. That's a hybrid determinate tomato that is really popular. So I thought, well, if I'm just trying it out, let me go with a very popular variety that people love, as well as another one, Bella Rosa. This is another hybrid. It is very disease resistant. Both of these are very disease resistant. I have a little bit of wilt to deal with. In one of my beds, I had tomatoes that just died, all of a sudden just wilted 2 years ago. So I haven't put any nightshades in that bed since then, like tomatoes. And I just want to be more proactive of buying like disease resistant things. So I'm excited. I got these from Tomato Growers Supply Company, and this was per the recommendation of a YouTuber you guys need to check out called Millennial Gardener. He is really into production, pest management, disease resistance, and he's growing in a southeastern state like I am. So a lot of his recommendations are perfect for where I'm growing in Georgia. Now, another YouTuber who you may have heard of, MIgardener, I did do a small order with them, and I'll show you those here. We are trying a bucket list item this year. We're doing some peanuts. I got 2 packs of Virginia peanuts. I thought, you know, we're in Georgia. Peanuts do great in our area. Alabama grows a lot of peanuts too. But Virginia peanuts were the only variety that MIgardener had, and I didn't want to put a whole separate order in at another company. I love the free shipping with MIgardener if you buy $12 worth of seeds. So my biggest concern with growing peanuts this year is that the squirrels are going to find them. But I've been collecting some like garden equipment over the winter and the fall. So now I have wire hoops, I have insect netting, and if nothing else, I could set up my hoops and just cover it with light insect netting to prevent the squirrels from digging them up while they're germinating. This will be fun. I hear they take a long time to grow, maturity 80 to 90 days, so not as long as I thought, but you know, it's going to be a space investment, but it'll be fun to experiment with that. Also from MIgardener, I am expanding on a few other fronts. I am trying pepperoncini peppers this year for pickling. You know those peppers you get at the salads at Olive Garden? Yes, if you go to Olive Garden, you know those little yellow peppers. Or Papa John's gives them out in the pizzas. Like they put a pepperoncini pepper in there. So we love them, and I can can things now, so I'll just maybe can my own peppers. If not this year, then next year. This year I might just stick to quick pickles. I'm also gonna get another round of cucumbers going. I don't need to can them this year. I have a lot left from last year. I even have a couple jars from 2021 still, which blows my mind because I can go through pickles. But I really mainly pickle the Boston pickling cucumber. This variety is something I've grown since 2020, and I repurchased it. I have to say I was just so impressed with the production and longevity of these plants last year. I planted them in early April, ripped them out, oh goodness, it might have been August. So I was just shocked that they lasted the same 2 plants all year long, all summer long. I will say the only thing about it is these are not burpless, so they do get little tiny spikes on the cucumber. You know what I mean? It's not like a spike, but it's those little pokey things make the cucumber more susceptible to turning bitter. The burpless cucumber varieties are touted as being less likely to be bitter. And in the heat, cucumbers can turn bitter. So this guy, my Boston pickling last year, I had a 2-week spell where they did turn bitter, and it was so sad. But once that heat wave passed, we didn't have any more bitter cucumbers. The plants just started producing good tasting cucumbers again. So I thought, you know, maybe we'll have another mild summer. I'll do like one of these plants, and then I've got other cucumber varieties I want to try too. So I'll have one tried and true in the mix, and then I'll try some other ones. I showed you in a different haul, but when I went to Baker Creek, I bought some Be It Alpha cucumbers to try. So, other wild cards. Trying some black sesame this year. I bet you did not see that coming. I didn't either, but I asked my husband before I put in the order if there's anything he wanted to throw in the bucket, the shopping cart, and he really wanted to grow black sesame. So I'm gonna have to figure this out. It does say you're supposed to start 4 to 6 weeks before last frost, and the plant does get 3 feet tall. So I think I'll try like one of these, and if we can grow our own sesame seeds, great. We use a lot of sesame seeds. I buy sesame seeds by a container that's this tall now because we just go through them. Now, I got another bucket list item here, the chocolate cherry sunflowers. I've seen these in catalogs the last 2 years, and now MIgardener has them. I don't know how long they've had these seeds. They probably were just sold out when I last was shopping there, but they had them in January. I think I'm excited about these most because of the name. And I like that they're still red. They're like a dark red. I have a little bit of space I give to sunflowers. They're one of my favorite things to watch because they grow just so tall. Another thing that I had fun watching grow, cantaloupes. And this year I'm expanding. So I've grown one type and I wanted to try a new one. This is called Honey Rock Cantaloupe. I hope it's good. I really just kind of impulsively picked this one out. So if you've grown it, let me know. But it says it has rich, sweet flesh and that it is a petite variety ideal for small garden spaces. I do not have a small garden space, but the amount of garden that gets sun enough to grow melons is small. So I'm thinking, I mean, I have several hundred square feet of growing area, but I'm gonna grow one of these, one of the Minnesota midgets, melons that I grew last year, and one other one I'll show you in a little bit. Now, when I'm out in the stores, especially this time of year, I can't help but look at all like the big box store seed displays. So I have been suckered into a couple things. I got these from Ferry Morse at Target, you know, over having my Target shopping day. I got some Paris Island Cost lettuce. And I wanted to get this because one of the videos Millennial Gardener did last year sometime was what types of lettuce to grow for heat and for cold. And he didn't, I don't think, recommend this particular one, but something he said about it was the romaine types of lettuce, in his experience, just tolerate heat better. They don't become bitter as quickly. And last year, I was looking at my notes, and by Memorial Day, May 31st, all of my spring lettuce had gone bitter. So maybe having a romaine style lettuce in the mix might give me lettuce for a few more weeks, you know. That would be nice. This Paris Island Cost is the only romaine style lettuce that I own. The others are like loose leaf lettuce. So I needed something to try. That's what I told myself. And then this was an impulse. 25 cents from like the Dollar Tree. You can't go wrong with 25 cents. Now, this variety is called Semi-Dwarf Pumelia mixed colors. And in my experience, zinnia pictures on seed packs are not necessarily accurate. Sometimes, like, some of these big companies are really lazy and they just use the same zinnia picture for like every zinnia variety they sell. So I don't know, but with these, what attracted me most was not the colors, it was the words semi-dwarf, because I have a lot of shade. So if I want to grow flowers, I need to be sure that they don't block other things. So semi-dwarf, might be able to squeeze them in a little bit. My only concern is that I get a lot of powdery mildew. So zinnias were very susceptible to powdery mildew for me, and I just really freak out. Like when the zinnias get sick, I just end up tearing out the plants because I don't want that powdery mildew to go to my cucumbers or to go to some other plants. So I thought, well, for 25 cents, I'll pay to try it out. But I'm not buying any other zinnias this year, unfortunately. I would love to just have a whole garden of zinnias, but not with this powdery mildew. Now, I am going to show you the last place I got seeds from. Technically, I bought them at a local nursery, but the brand is called Botanical Interests. It's a company out in California, and interestingly, a YouTuber just purchased them. Epic Gardening just purchased this company, so that's cool. But I've used Botanical Interest seeds for years and years. I know my mom likes Botanical Interest seeds. It's a big brand, and they carry some neat varieties. I got lucky though. This year at my garden center in January, I was having my first good day in a while, and I was just treating myself to a little garden center trip, and the seeds from last year were all on sale. So I got all of these packs for less than $1.77 each. Some were like $1.30. I mean, that's almost as good as you can do, unless you want to just stick to the Dollar Tree varieties, which are good, but they're just limited compared to shopping from lots of companies. So I have, what do I want to show you first? I'm going to show you my lavenders. I bought two kinds of lavenders. I don't have these. I have English lavender and then Munstead lavender. So I probably should winter sow these. I don't know if I'm going to get to that. I bought them mainly because they're on sale, and as far as I know, lavender seeds should last. So if I don't get to them this year, then that's something I can do next year. But I just really want to do dried lavender for sachets to put in drawers or to just have as decoration in my house, because at my wedding we threw lavender, dried lavender. It was my mom's idea, and now I'm like attached to lavender sentimentally. So I'm like a lavender person ever since getting married. Before I got married and had that experience, I could care less about lavender, but now I have like these kinds, and I own two plants outside that are already starts that I bought. So we're just collecting lavender. Now I got a couple replacements from Botanical Interest. Oregon Sugar Pod 2. These are these snow peas? I always forget. Yes, they're snow peas. So they're a little flatter. Think of more like stir fry. You see chopsticks in the picture. More like just great to throw in a mix of veggies with a sauce and some rice, and you're good. Now, these are very, very successful in my garden. I think this is the third year I've purchased Oregon Sugar Pod 2. And I'll be planting these in like a week, 2 weeks. I was just looking at my notes. It's coming up. Now, I also bought replacements for the Kilimanjaro marigolds. With these, they're just white marigolds. And last year I had such a bad marigold year. They don't give you a lot of seeds in this. It's really not that many, so I was almost out. Some pests were eating my marigolds, and I don't know what they were. I also put them in a bad spot. It was very shaded. So marigolds are going to have a comeback this year. I'm going to try harder with marigolds because I miss them. Now, something that does well in shade that I am going to just do so much of because they're really easy are nasturtiums. Nasturtiums. I bought a new variety to me called Mahogany. It's this nice red color. I don't have any red nasturtiums. I'm pretty much collecting the rainbow at this point. I have Orchid Cream, which is a white with like a warm striped inside from Baker Creek. I have Jewel Tone Mix from a couple companies. I mean, I've got I've got like 3 or 4 kinds, but nasturtiums not only have the cutest little lily pad style leaves, but they love the shade. They don't need any care. I mean, I planted mine in April in my shade garden and just ignored them. I didn't even have them irrigated. I did not irrigate the row that my nasturtiums were planted. And they lived all the way until the first frost, like early November, late October. They were still blooming at the end of the year. So I'm going to go double down on nasturtiums since my shade garden is getting, I think, shadier by the year. So I'm going to grow what works. And I'm trying to save seeds from nasturtiums. My mom and my dad have a bed of nasturtiums last year that overwintered for them because they're in a warmer climate than me. And they just kept reseeding themselves. And I don't feel like mine produces many seeds for some reason. So maybe one of these varieties will be better at giving me some seeds to save. I hear you can also eat nasturtium seeds kind of like capers. My cat's coming to visit for our last couple packs. Okay, she's decided not to. I'm getting one other melon to try. This is a very popular variety, the Hale's Best Jumbo Cantaloupe. Now, this one, it says, talk to seasoned gardeners and they will swear by Hale's Best Jumbo. 3 to 5 pound fruits are exceptionally sweet and thick-walled. And the seed cavity is small, so you get more delicious, mouth-watering fruit. I'm really excited to try these because they're just legendary. And, you know, hey, kind of like with the celebrity tomato, like, who am I to say these are not going to be good? Everyone else says they're good. So if you've grown the Hale's Best, I would love to hear what you think of the flavor. I love cantaloupe. I do not like honeydew very much at all. That's why I'm not growing anything like that. And I'm also going to grow some watermelons, but I didn't need any new seeds for watermelons. So, changing gears, one last thing to show you. I'm trying some avalanche beets this year. My spring round of beets went so well last year. I sowed some outside, just direct sowed, and they did not do great. But I transplanted some a couple weeks later. And those things were like 5 times the size of my direct sown ones, even though the direct sown ones were older. And so I was looking at my notes, it was like early June, I was ripping out like enough beets for a dinner. I got 2 rounds of meals off of the beets, which was just miles better than I've ever done with beets before. I've never gotten successful beets. So now I'm going to expand and try the avalanche, because avalanche beets and other white and yellow beets are usually described as being sweet and having a milder flavor. So they're less, I imagine that means they're like less earthy, which fortunately my husband and I don't mind red beets, that red flavor, but it'll be fun to try a different color. That's the whole collection. Thanks for sticking around to watch. If you have made it this far, please put a comment down below on what your top 3 new seeds are that you're excited to try. I would love to get more ideas. I keep notes. I have an Excel document with notes on what I want. So the next year when I'm shopping, I can look back at these recommendations. But also, I appreciate you sticking with the channel. I know I've been away for a while, so I hope this was fun, and I'm excited for this new summer we have ahead of us, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.